everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lori, and if you are new to my channel, I am a doll repainter. Although I use that term kind of loosely because I think that I'm a lot more than just a repainter. I even had a friend in the doll community, and he really didn't like the term at all. I think he thought it diminished the art in his eyes. So, but that's the term that's used when you take the factory paint off of a doll and then repaint it. So, but there's a lot more involved in it, isn't there? There's, especially if you look across YouTube now and see all of the creative things that are going on in the community. It's so much fun to take a doll and basically recreate it and make it your own. So I guess that's what I do. Anyway, happy Halloween. This is my favorite time of year and my favorite holiday. I absolutely love Halloween. I love Christmas too. I love all holidays, but Halloween is just special to me. I don't know why. It just is. I don't know. The fall, all of it. And this is my entry into Halloween this year. And she was a commission. She's a Tonner doll. And the request was that she should be a fortune teller with, I'm talking so slow, I don't know why, a fortune teller with a third eye. And she was going to have some symbols on her face and some jewels and something on her chest as well. So this video is going to focus mostly on painting. I think the entire video is mostly painting, and really that's my specialty. I've honed my skills over 20 years in the art of painting a doll. I saw an artist when I first started. I first found dolls through Renee Coughlin. She did one and only dolls, and she was my gateway into discovering other doll artists. She did a lot of Barbie. And she also did some of the bigger dolls like Tonner and Jean. And Jean was the one that I saw, and it just sort of blew my mind how pretty this doll was. Then I found a woman named Terry Norcia, and her dolls look like these glamorous human little portraits. I couldn't even believe what I was seeing. I mean, my first one is so heinously wrong. It just doesn't look anything at all like what I wanted. And it's funny how you can have a picture in your mind. I wanted to be Terry. I wanted my dolls to be realistic and beautiful, and they kind of looked like my fantasy portraits because I was a watercolor fantasy artist, and that's what my dolls look like. So it's been 20 years now, and I spent most of my time honing in my skills as a painter. And I know I see a lot of artists out there doing dolls with pencils now, and I've dabbled in that a little bit, and it is fun. I did a Lestat, and I did him entirely in pencils, and it was really fun. The pencils do better on the softer vinyl than they do on the harder vinyl, and I mean, I spent 20 years learning how to paint, so I'm just going to stick with what I know. And that's basically what my channel offers, is how to paint. You know, as realistic as possible, with also a fantasy element to it, because I think that's just who I am and my background. So whenever I'm painting something, I always kind of add a little bit of that fantasy part to it. So this particular doll right now, I'm treating it kind of like you would a makeover, you know, just any Instagram model or, you know, makeup artist, or if you looked up YouTube and you looked up makeup videos, then it's kind of the same thing, except for that I have to actually paint it. But I mean, as far as like the makeup application with the colors and the PanPastels working for me like eyeshadows and blushes and things like that. So if you wanted to have ideas on how you wanted your dolls to look, that would be a great place to go, is to just look up your favorite makeup artists and watch their videos, because I think they're really good teaching tools. And also, if you if you can watch as many videos as you possibly can on different artists out there in the YouTube world, painting, not just dolls, obviously dolls, as many as you can, because every single one of them has a new perspective. And I swear I learn something new almost every time I watch a video. I'm like, oh wow, I never thought of that. Or, oh, I've never seen that product. So it's always good to if you're interested in learning how to be a repainter or an oak doll artist, I guess that's a good way to put it. Definitely watch videos. Watch a lot of videos, because there's just so much to learn. And we all offer a different approach to how we do it. And my approach is a kind of, there's a lot of realism to it. I'm my like, for when I'm doing these eyes, I want that center eye in the middle to look like the eyes on the face. I'm looking for that depth and quality of a real eyeball. And that's hard to do on a flat surface, because obviously with the eyes, I have the curvature of the eye, the inset, all that. But when I'm trying to make it look right on the forehead and also get it the same size, that's not as easy. But it's a lot of shading, and it's a lot of layers, like a lot of layers. I don't even know how many layers I went through. I know I cleaned her face with acetone, pure acetone, because that's just the easiest. And then what I did was I sprayed her with Mr. Super Clear as per usual, and this is pretty standard across the board. And then I used burnt sienna tint, and that I put all over the face and some on the chest. The face was a little darker than the rest of the body, even though this is how the doll came. Sometimes the vinyl and the plastic don't match up perfectly, so I wanted to kind of match them up and also give myself a tooth, for the pencils. And I only needed, I think, one layer. And then I did all of the, when you spray the pan pastel, the light colors, they kind of fade away and blend into the vinyl. They don't disappear. But if you wanted to really change the color of the doll face or body, you would have to use a lot of layers if you're going with a light color. But I did that first, and I only needed spray, pan pastel, spray again, and then I went ahead and with all of the face shading and contouring. And then I sprayed it again before I went in with the pencils. And then I sprayed it again before I went in with the paint. So it's quite a bit of spray. There's a lot of layers. And Mr. Super Clear is tough. Like, it's tough. It's a great product. And I haven't found anything else that I like better. So I always keep a couple extra cans in the cabinet, so in case I run out. And I always spray it outside because it's not very safe. It's toxic, of course. Art can be dangerous. So anyway, I am working here at this point on trying to get that depth and quality in the center eye. I jumped right to it before I even painted the regular eyes, because I was excited to get to that eye. I just wanted to get it moving, and I even put a highlight in before it was even ready. I wanted to see it, and I wanted to see if I could get that flat surface to, like you would in a painting. Paintings are flat, so why not, right? So that's what I'm working on. And I want to say by the time I was done, I felt like I had mostly achieved my goal. I'm never 100% satisfied with anything I do. I can like it. I can even appreciate what I did, but I always think I can do better. I think that's just the curse of the artist. If you want to see how I did this doll from start to finish, I have a Patreon page, and my Patreon covers this entire process from start to finish, all of it has been explained in depth in real time. So you can learn my process anyway on how I do it and other things too. I have a weekly episode every Sunday at 7 that I air on my Patreon page, and it is always in real time, 99% of the time, unless it's, super boring and you don't need to see it. But yeah, and I show not just painting, but also sculpting, hair, and whatever else Oak Dolls involve. The series I'm doing right now, because this one just wrapped up, and the final episode aired last Sunday. So this Saturday, because it's Halloween, I bumped up a day so that I could get my first episode of a sexy Freddy Krueger out of an Ever After doll. And she has her own custom stand and costume, and I gave her bigger boobs, and what else did I do? I made her hat, gloves, glove with the knives, like the whole 9 yards. And the first episode of that airs on Saturday on Halloween. So come and join my Patreon family if you want to learn how I do things in real time. And I take my time explaining everything. So I think this one is 4 episodes before you see, and it's only just painting. It's 4 episodes of painting, and they're all an hour long, approximately an hour long. I'll also have the video for the sexy Freddy Krueger girl on YouTube when she's all done. She's just not finished yet. But I had fun with cosplay, sculpting her stand. I wanted it to look like a boiler room. So that was fun. And the challenges of making her stand on it, that's a whole nother thing. But it's definitely worth checking out. Right here, I am adding gold to her, and I didn't even really use the goldens that I showed. I mostly just used the folk art gold. I believe it's folk art. I just used that, and it popped so beautifully. I just wanted her to stand out, and I felt the gold really added to that. So that's how that happened. And the lips are obviously going to be a beautiful blood red with a gold stripe down the bottom lip. Like I said, I kind of used some video or some photos of Instagram and YouTube girls as my inspiration. It was really what the client sent anyway, and then I just sort of made it my own thing as I looked at it. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to like the video and subscribe so I can try to win over the algorithm. I'm not up very high, so a lot of people don't see my videos. So if you could hit the like button and subscribe, that would be so helpful to my channel, and it would really help me grow. And obviously, if you hit the bell, then you'll be notified whenever I have new videos. Also, if you could comment below what you would like to see from me, I would love to hear from you. I'm pretty sure, I think that from what I see a lot online, it's Barbies and Monster High that are pretty popular on YouTube. My base clientele is Toner, and that's sort of what I've been doing for the last forever. But I do paint Barbies, and I do Monster Highs. And like I said, the Freddy Krueger girl will be an Ever After. And I even showed how to create the burns on her face. So, of course, they're strategic, and it's all pretty girl stuff. It's not... I tried to make it a little ooky, but, I wanted her to be fun, but still glamorous. It feels like, well, it doesn't feel like it is true. I have been in my little fortress of solitude all day, drinking I don't know how many cups of coffee. And for breakfast, I had cereal like it was chips instead of putting milk in it. I just couldn't be bothered with actually eating it all at one time, so I just set it on the desk and snacked on it as I went. Yesterday was also a video day, so it's been 2 full days of just making videos. And they can be rather time consuming. So uh, back to dolls tomorrow. So I didn't do any doll work yesterday, and I probably won't today either because it's already 3 o'clock. But I'm anxious to get back to my little Freddy Krueger girl. So if you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much. I really appreciate you watching. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I am going to put a list of all the supplies that I used for this particular doll down in the bottom. It is mostly going to be the paintbrush, paints, the jewels that that are coming up, and PanPastels, and of course the Jane Davenport palette that I used as well. So I'll make sure to add all of that down at the bottom so you can find whatever you might need, and I will answer any questions. I'm painted the lashes on this doll because that's what the client prefers. But you know, I think that real lashes would have really added to it. On this particular doll, some real false lashes would have really been pretty. But I like the painted ones too. I think that it's definitely what the person prefers. So that was really fast. Those were my little Swarovski, if I can say that right, jewels. And I used the AB and the 1.5 millimeter, very, very tiny. There was a lady who sold them on Etsy, and it's Lux something. I have to look her up and see if I can find her so I can link her. But I had a hard time using her website. I had no problem buying off Etsy, but then her website was like marked unsafe, and so I couldn't order. And I'm sad because I really, really love her product. She sells the tiniest jewels, and they're really nice and beautiful, high quality. So I will try again to find her and link it below for sure. So here I'm adding the little symbols underneath the eye, and at first I was going to start to draw them in, but then it just seemed like the pencil was too thick or something, so I just went back in and just painted them. And I added a couple of jewels to the cheeks. As you can see, there's one. And then I'm probably very close to doing the chest. I'm going to do a chest design. But right here I'm adding the varnish. Just so I wanted to see the paint pop, you know, from the varnish. But I never do this, and I don't recommend it. Don't varnish before you photograph, unless you're going for that dome-like look on the eyeball and you're going to create the shine that way. Otherwise, wait to varnish until after you photographed. It's just easier to take pictures without big glares in the paint and you know, on the eyes. So I've moved on to the hands, and as you can see in the picture, that's kind of what I'm following. It's mostly what I did. I thought it was really cool, and I wanted to do it. And then what I did when I was all done with the hands, and I just used black paint only. I sprayed the hands with Mr. Super Clear, and then I painted on them. And then when I was done, I coated them with what's it called? Mod Podge. And then once that dried, I sprayed it again with Mr. Super Clear and a little PanPastel, obviously, for the, you know, to make the hands look more alive, with a little bit of permanent red for, you know, just to make the skin of the doll look more alive. But the Mod Podge really will help protect it from scratching. And then once you spray it, then it will look matte again, nice and flat. So I used a little, I can't remember what those things are called, to make the circle a bit more perfect, so I didn't have to trust myself. And I drew the entire eye thing out. You can see the illustration that I'm using up in the corner there. And then I just painted it in with black paint and sprayed it with, I sprayed the chest before, I shaded it, and then I sprayed it again after. So you can see all the stuff that I'm doing here is just finishing up the final parts of this doll. And then, oh, whoopsies. I was having one of those kind of days where I kept on getting paint all over the doll. I don't know what was my problem, but it was just, and that's why I just left it in the video, because honestly, it's not the only time that it happened. I think I stuck, my thumb has black paint all over it, and I stuck it under the chin and almost panicked. Then I got that off. If you go fast enough, you can get it off. That's the only problem with paint. Sometimes there's going to be mistakes, but fortunately everything cleaned up okay, and she survived. She survived my torture. But this is almost done, this video. And I just want to thank you again. See, I sprayed her. I covered her face to protect it because it was already sprayed. I just want to thank you again for watching to the end if you made it here. And I hope that this video was helpful. And again, if you have any questions, don't forget to ask me. Please like and subscribe, all that business. And don't forget to check out my Patreon page if you're interested in learning a little bit more in depth on how I create dolls. That would be awesome. For the glue, I have to put that down in the thing too. I use Jewel It, because it's specifically made for gluing jewels. So that's what I ended up using. It's pretty good and strong. And then I used a bigger jewel that I got at Hobby Lobby for the center. But that's about it, guys. Happy Halloween. I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday. And I will have a Christmas doll up pretty soon, too. After maybe my next Halloween doll that's a little late. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.